The moon shall be tinged with blood, the sun shall be obscured, the earth shall be covered by waters, and the brilliant stars shall fall from their sanctuaries in the heavens. Fire and smoke shall rise up until they reach the very skies.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Blade of Darkness, also known as Severance Blade of Darkness. Now, before anything else, the manual for this game actually has a few interesting text blurbs. So the first one of them is introductory, and I will scroll the text on the screen right now. If you want to read it, you can pause it, it'll be easy. And while it's scrolling, for those who don't want to read it, I will just summarize it quickly. So 3, 2, 1, go. Basically, there's this goddess of order called Iana, and her husband, god of chaos, unnamed in the blurb, is starting some shit, and she wants to rein him in using a champion that she will pick from the mortals. There we go, that's the basic, like, introductory gist of the story. Let's see, the game gives us a choice of the champion for Iana. There is the knight, there is the dwarf, there is the Amazon, and finally there is the barbarian that is featured on most cover art, if not all, and such for this game. Now I'll be showing you all of the characters because they play kind of differently from each other. I will obviously not be showing every one of them on every level because they would be silly to record as well as watch, but there will be some alternation going on between the characters as the levels go along. Also, each character has their own first unique level, so of course those all will be shown, and that stone does not fly where I would expect it to fly from that throw. Anyway, the first character is this knight. His name is Sargon. He also has a text blurb in the manual, which is much longer than the previous one, but I will also scroll it and summarize, so 3, 2, 1, go. Basically, the king of the best nation in the world is experiencing some trouble in the regions, and there is word of a rebellion, so this guy, Captain Sargon, is sent to a fortress to check things out. But the fortress turns out to house a betrayer called Ragnar, and he jumps them and imprisons them. That's basically it. Now there is some more info, a picture that looks nothing like him, and another little summarization. There is of course also the intro to the level where some of this will be repeated, but, well, you know, you will learn it better if you are told it several times. Let's just jump into the level for now. We don't need a tutorial. I will be your tutorial for this one.
As a faithful knight of the king, you were sent to investigate reports of strange events at the frontiers of the realm. But the worst fears of the order have been confirmed. Ragnar, lord of the fortress at Tabriz, seems to have turned traitor. Your party was ambushed by his knights, and now you lie in a gloomy dungeon, your mission a failure and your men slain. The only hope of recovering your lost honor and saving the kingdom from its enemies lies in escaping this prison cell. Find and defeat Ragnar!
And here we are, in-game, imprisoned in this cell, which seems to be a very common starting point for fantasy games. Anyway, let's investigate the cell a little bit, see what we have to work with. There's a bit of a sewer gate where I can probably take a dump. There's a skull here that I can throw, to show you that you can throw things, and just because there's nothing else to do here. Or is there? Yep. You can also just interact with the world, which usually does not amount to this level of cutscene, and usually it's just some sort of lever or a lock. But in this case, this is a special situation. This guy's first level is a bit more complex than the other people's first levels for some reason. Maybe he was the first that they were making for this game and they kind of ran out of steam there, but I don't know. I don't really want to judge. The other levels are good too. This game is great. Check out those shadows. Check out that water that we have just passed. It was all very impressive for the time, to be quite honest. Like Doom 3 came out boasting real-time shadows, and this game was doing it way before. Let's eat this piece of meat. And Sargon stopped trying to climb the table. So now that we have the key, we can unlock stuff, which doesn't really matter. Out of the kindness of my heart, I will unlock all these cells, just in case these guys decide to escape after I completely decimate everyone armed in this castle. But that is the only lock that we really need to unlock to progress. Also, I think if you use the key everywhere you can, it gets removed from your inventory, so that's just a matter of neatness. By the way, we can totally break barrels and shit with our bare hands. And crates as well. Some freaky collisions there, but I don't really mind. Actually, breaking barrels, especially small ones, has remained the hardest part of the game for me. One who has completed it 2 times by now, as the Amazon and the Barbarian. Not actually the Knight or the Dwarf, so as I'm recording this, I'm playing a lot of these levels my first time with these characters. But yep, you can also right here slightly notice the water is not affected as much by the fog. It is a common visual bug in this game, and in one level, and only one level, it is really important, and in that level I will switch to another renderer for a while just to show you how it's supposed to look without any glitches. But let's go find our actual weapon. These freaky little guys, they are complete jokes, even though they managed to bite me a couple times in this playthrough for some reason. I pretty much literally had more trouble with them, just surprisingly, while recording this, than I have ever in this game in the history of me playing it. But it was not here, it was when secondly, when we next meet a bunch of these guys, and that is kind of an embarrassing display. Also, check out the shadows from this torch. Holy crap, man. It's a pretty game. The architecture can be kind of simple, but man, does it really look nice. Another lock, another key. I'm gonna pick up the torch again, because before it goes out it could be a better weapon than our sword. Actually, it does more damage. Whoops, went to the wall there for a couple times. But yeah, this is our first real enemy. As you can see, the torch seems to do 8, where our sword would have done 5. Let's pick up the gladius and the comet shield. Shields in this game kind of suck, especially the freaking comet shield, which can withstand only like 3 little taps and then it breaks. And in this game, let's set the crate on fire, by the way. In this game, when the shield breaks in your hands, you do a stupid stuttering animation which leaves you completely open for attack. So the only shields that are worth your time are ones that have a little more durability and will not break during a fight with one enemy. In general, the 2 characters that I have beaten this game with, which are Barbarian and Amazon again, those do not use shields, so maybe that's why I was choosing them. But it is certainly all possible. There is tricks you can do, which will make things easier. Not the least of them is the system of various combos and special attacks. When I finish having embarrassing amounts of trouble with these guys, I will get a level up. You can see the blue bar of experience beneath my life there in the HUD. When you get a level up, you get increase in stamina, which in this game only is responsible for attacking. There we go. Increase in health and such. Defense, POW, I think, yes. And you get access to new abilities. Here's some of, well, all of our abilities and stuff. And some text. A few days ago we rode out from Tel Halaf. At last I was given an important mission where I could prove my blah blah. You know what? You can read this on your own. Also, the way that those moves are written is bizarre, because the symbols that have a plus between them are meant to be pressed in succession, and the symbols that are just next to each other are meant to be pressed simultaneously. So that's kind of backwards. This guy's sleeping because he's an idiot. And we cut off his arm. We can also take people's arms and heads and such and throw them, kinda like in Rune, but I will not be doing that usually because it has no point. Now at level 2 we got a little move which I might show up here. Evade and attack. For some reason that makes a different sword attack that I think does slightly more damage, but it's kinda useful, although evading in this game is not Dark Souls because it does not give you any fucking invincibility frames at all. It is purely moving your collisions, I think. At least I believe so, and your collisions are probably rather accurate to your model. Oh, dude is jumping like he never jumps, so this playthrough is completely unique. Like, a lot of this stuff has never happened before. It's almost as if this is some sort of speedrun event. But, as I was saying, I don't actually remember what I was saying, to be quite honest with you. Let's eat something off this table. There's a variety of foods that we can eat. But yes, dodging, I remember. The Amazon rolls, and she is the closest one to Dark Souls you will get in this game. She is kind of fast and such. With this guy, you have to balance using a shield when necessary and when safe to get openings for attacks, because, come on, because you can freely attack after someone knocks on your shield, but be careful to not let it shatter in the middle of combat, because you will be cut up. And just doing quick jabs with your weapons, which are not as powerful as some other characters' weapons, but they're nice still. And some of your combos are quick and nice as well. Now, I kinda suck at this character, so I will be using some tricks. There's a dangerous situation up there. It will even have a cutscene to show us. 3 knights. Secretly, one of them is 3 times healthier than the other 2. Has 30 health. I do not want to go down there. I want to go in the other direction and find a little supplement for myself. Remember how I showed you throwing the skull? Well, the throwing in this game is kind of awesome. Let's kill this guy who has a potion, which he can drink if we damage him and run even slightly away, so he has time to do it. Kinda like the people in Dark Souls drinking the Restus. Only in this case, their health is immediately replenished when they do that, and you do not get the potion from them, which you otherwise would have. If you kill them without letting them drink anything, you can get the potion. Eclipse. This is the weapon for barbarians. The knight cannot handle it very well. He will just slowly, painfully just kind of smash with it. Almost like in Dark Souls. I cannot help but make many comparisons. In Dark Souls, when you do not have the stats for a weapon, pretty much the same situation. But we can do another thing with the weapon, which does not require us to be the particular character for which the weapon is suited. Let's try it. Actually, spoiler alert, it goes kind of terribly first time here. I don't know why, because, well, usually it works. Ooh, but I missed this time. That guy was not killed by my giant axe flying. Let's see if the swords do better. Actually, they do. This is really fantastic here. I once beat this level completely just by throwing that axe at people and another strong barbarian weapon that you find later. But I realized that I should probably learn to play this knight without that cheaty bullshit about throwing, so I will just show it to you a couple times here and then proceed to play normally, which I need to practice as much as I can, because it will be important. But yes, that's actually, the weapons do damage. They still do more damage when thrown if they have high damage, so the huge weapons that you cannot handle normally are great for that. and I appreciate them putting these weapons in this level, even though my knight can never use them and the barbarian can never get here. Also the music changes because that 50 health guy comes here. Now I know that in this fight I can actually waste some health, because when I finish these two guys I will get a level up and it heals me. And after that I get some new moves and the stuff becomes easier. So this is like the hardest part of the level, maybe, for some people. Because you are still fresh, you still have nothing in your disposal, at your disposal I guess. And you are faced with 4 knights, also in fighting. That guy is kinda crazy, he got hit by that guy. Usually enemies retaliate once, kinda like Lost Souls in Doom. Doesn't lead to like infinite chains of retaliations, because the ones originally offended, who originally offended the other guys, they do not retaliate to retaliations. So it just, there's 2 hits going on, but you can kind of make people hit each other. And particularly there's one enemy type that kills everyone around you and robs you of the experience. Actually not everyone, there's like, they usually come in groups and they kill each other, that's what I'm saying. By the way, that guy was carrying a better shield, the wooden shield I think, and I will get it because this has like 4 times the power, and this shield is actually practical to use. You can only keep 3 shields and 4 weapons, and I will strive to get the better shields every time I can, even though I don't use them that much, but still, you want to be prepared for this stuff. Now I could jump down that roof and down the courtyard, but I want to open the gate legitimately. Actually I don't really have a reason for that besides avoiding fall damage, which I could probably eat away right there and then, but yeah, let's just show how the level is supposed to be played. By the way, yes, we did in fact get level 3, which gives us our first combo. There we go, North Cross. This will be useful because combos, the hits done by combos usually tend to do more damage than regular hits. So that will be useful, that can sometimes break shields in one hit, sometimes just do a lot of damage. Now boxes. These are 2 additional types of boxes next to just the plain wooden ones. The ones that are mostly wooden, just with a little bit of a frame of metal, like that one that was titled box. They can be set aflame using a torch, and then they will shatter. The ones that crisscross girder kind of metal thing, you know, the other 3, they cannot be destroyed. I kind of wonder what would happen here if the torch goes out and you have not burnt this box, because torches in this game, once they go out, they cannot be lit again, unlike Rune, in which torches can be lit multiple times as much as you want. So that is kind of strange. Okay, down there is the chapel, if I remember correctly, and there's a guy around here who has the key to the chapel. Guys who have keys are nice, because you get the key as soon as you kill the guy, and even if some other enemy kills the guy, you get the key. You don't have to go up there and grab it like the potion, which you would have to do. And the potions have often rolled down into some unreachable places, which frustrated me to no end, because I like having a lot of potions available to me to use, because I suck at this game. Well, actually some characters are easier than others. The Amazon, for example, is completely easy because she's fast, she has long weapons, and she rolls better than the other people, so she was kind of easy to beat the game with once I got used to actually doing superpowers were like special moves and combos and such. Okay, I'm getting beaten up here badly, but you know what, doesn't really matter to me. There's plenty of potions and food in this level. They are kind of backloaded, unfortunately, but I will get my health back. Also probably from level ups. Okay, life potion 50. You drink it immediately like a piece of food. That also happens with life potion 150, but above that you get to keep them in the inventory to use for later. There's limited amounts of potions you can keep. Before we proceed, let's go to the chapel and find what's in there for us. It's a good thing that would be more useful if well, you will see. You will see. Of course, I already know what happens in this update, but I shall not spoil it for you. Cool area. Death Sword. This is the other barbarian weapon. And we get a potion for the inventory. There we go, 1 of 4. And 0 keys. You see the keys that I used, they went away. And the dungeon key, if I hadn't used it in all the cells, I think it would have stayed there for the rest of the level, which would have been maybe slightly like confusing, so I decided to avoid that. Alright, I know that there is a guy here who starts, well, he starts over there and he walks over there. And here he has his back to us, so let's try and throw this. I know that if I throw from afar it's going to get hit on the above the door, but there it goes, down the window. Well, maybe we can pick it up later from the floor out there. I kinda want that. Let's go look. Also better shield here. And some food. Cheese and crust. Crust is kinda pointless, only gives you 10 health, but in the beginning every health point counts. And nope, we are not getting that sword back because there is an endless abyss down there, or at least a high enough abyss that we cannot go in. This lever half lowers the drawbridge, so we need to find another one to lower it completely and be able to cross. It's somewhere across there. There's 2 guys with halberds going down there. I could probably throw shit at them, but I mean, I am brave enough and strong enough to face them directly, so this is just how cool I am. Whoop! Should miss this. I missed it my first couple times. Armory lock. There is a good, really great thing down there, which we really need in this level. You will see. I will explain when it is apparent why it's so important. You can probably guess what could be in the armory though. Oh man, I am getting so slashed. And there we go. I used the shield to open him for attack and combos and shit. You have probably seen it happen before, but of course I've been talking something other else thing over it. English! Heck yeah! Let's go. There's a boat hook, which is an Amazon weapon, which I'm not sure does a lot of damage when thrown. There's a good shield. As you can see, one is 52 and the other 2 are full. There's a potion of 150 which we can drink right now. I don't know why they didn't break it. But the most important thing here is the mace. The mace has suddenly 10 instead of like what, 4 or... no, 4 was probably unarmed. In any case, it has more power. And it gets the combo at level 7, by which time we'll probably get much better weapon. And we do not have the stamina to do the North Cross with it. But we don't really need to, because the base, the normal hit with it is powerful enough and it's faster than doing the combo thing. That's actually a little problem in this game that I found. You get the level to be able to use combos with weapons after those weapons become obsolete, and you find better weapons which you can use just to make single hits which do more damage than the combos from the weapons that you were only now being able to do. Like, well, that was kind of shoddily explained, but I think you should understand what I mean. Also, holy crap, this club, this mace rather, did a lot more damage than I expected. Wow, there. That guy, I think, had 50 health. How did I do that in one hit and bypass his shield? I genuinely had no idea how I did that. The mace is not that powerful. It's powerful, but not quite that level of a... holy crap. But... one more similarity to Dark Souls, at least for me. Dark Souls 2 mace was my friend for a long time. It actually becomes outdated in this very level by the end, but... well... it will help us in a big way. A little bit down on... near the end of the level. There's the drawbridge down. We can safely cross. Of course, there's a guy behind us who spawned and noticed us. Let's see, maybe this time it'll deal normal damage. If I can even hit anyone with it. Too bad that if I attack after sidestepping, it counts as the finishing like the sidestep attack, and you cannot combo from that attack because it doesn't count as like just a normal single hit. The controls in this game could be better. I was especially frustrated. Yeah, by the way, now level 4 we can do the North Cross with this weapon, we can also do this thing, which is very situational, but against one single enemy it's very useful. But yeah, in the end of the game, the Barbarian, he has special attacks that are triggered when you try to go forward or backwards after hitting with a sword. So you naturally want to like step back after hitting someone so you don't get hit back, and that results in him trying to do attack for which he usually has no stamina by that point, so he has that stupid animation which you do when you run out of stamina and you stand in one place for 5 seconds just breathing. By the way, this freaking guy is probably the scariest thing in any of the first levels of these guys. This dude, he has so much health. Well, you don't really need to remove all of that, but he does so much damage as well. Like there, well, that doesn't look like much. I mean, I could survive like 3 more of those hits probably, but he can deal a lot more. But the important thing is, whoa, that was scary. That was the moment where I was sure I would die. Also, this guy has a range attack, so that's why I'm hiding from him. The range attack homes in on you. Thankfully he doesn't do it here, so I'm kinda saved. And I need to hurry to provoke him into attacking again. But the mace does a lot of damage against him. The sword would have done 5, and you need to lift like 200. Whoa! There you see that one hit did more than half. And now I'm scared because I don't want to use another potion, and I have to be very careful because I can get killed in one hit here. And the character is clumsy, so you could accidentally get just not far enough and he will hit you. So this was a scary moment. But yeah, with the sword that deals 5 damage, you need to land like 40 attacks on him, which is crazy. When I tried to get this guy without knowing about the mace, having missed it in that one place, I had to resort to repeatedly throwing my Eclipse and my Death Sword at him to have a chance, and I went through all my potions. So yeah, that was fun. But right now I am kinda starving for health items such as food, and even crusts are tempting, but more so cheese. I guess I'll take another crust. Now there is that one direction where I didn't go, there, and it is yet too early to go there. There is a lock there, a key for which we get a bit later, like around the corner basically, but I don't have that key yet. So to minimize backtracking I should get the key first. There's these 2 guys in the door beyond the guy, the big guy that opens when you kill him. Okay, I think here I actually successfully provoke some like a couple infighting hits. Let me see. I was really trying to do it. These guys also like taunting, which opens them up because they're idiots. That's a good time to rush in and land a couple hits. Yep, there we go. He touched that guy and he just killed him in return. And then proceeded to taunt us and die himself. But here's the tower key. Now you want to go there and get what's in there as soon as you can, because what you find there, the loot, is also very good and very important. Of course there's a couple dudes on the way, but they're nothing especially dangerous with our mace in our hands and a series of shields which give us free hits pretty much. Now I know there's nothing, nose barrels, maybe 1 crust, but I am just too cool to care. Look at some Sargon rendered background. There is the tower lock. There's another guy who is really stupid. There we go. Let's go see what's in this room, which is not a tower. Gasp! It's a better armor. Armor in this game is very limited. You find sets just lying in the levels that pretty much act as a permanent upgrade to your defense and nothing else. The knight has light, medium and heavy, Amazon and Barbarian have only the light armor, and the Dwarf has light and medium. So the Knight is kind of the more in-depth character out of all of them. The least basic, I guess, in some way. But I mean, it is supported by the lore. The fact that the other guys don't really need big armor. But here, this place, remind you of anything? This is actually much easier than it looks. It looks kind of scary, but you can run past it easily, and there's a power potion in here. Now, initially I thought that this one was good against the big guy, but it didn't really do much. He still deals a lot of damage, and even with the power potion, if you use a sword, you don't deal a lot of damage to him. But this power potion is just a godsend for the final mini-boss of this level, which I probably would not be able to beat without it. So there's a bad prognosis for the future of the playthrough as the Knight here, because if that mini-boss of the first level gave me as much trouble as it did, I shudder to think what I will do against the future enemies. But maybe that guy, he did seem much more aggressive and actually dangerous than most of the enemies in the game, so maybe it's fair that he gave me so much trouble. Okay, arrow traps. Also kinda easy, even though movement in this game is kinda clunky. Like, you can't move a very small amount usually, you take a full step. But it's precise enough. You can avoid all this easily. As you can see, you can kinda tell where it's flying from, so it's no problem. But we are at the moment pursuing Ragnar, and it's not the same Ragnar from Rune. I know what you're thinking, it's a different Ragnar. There he is, the pink guy is Ragnar. We're pursuing him in his tower, which shows just how paranoid he is because he installed so many traps. Okay, I don't even want to have these guys kill me, but I can afford going the easy way using the shield. Although I really like people hitting each other for me. I don't like people killing each other for me because that does not give me the experience for their deaths. But weakening each other for me is fine. And I will be constantly trying to have that happen when there's multiple enemies. Of course, some are more likely to do that than others, because some have much more prolonged and wide attacks. And these guys are really cautious and don't really attack unless you are really close to them. This thing, the Berserker kinda rage combo thing, is the closest they have to how some other enemies in the game behave. But later in the game these knights are a joke as well, because you get great weapons and great combos. There we go, 3 shields completely full. Awesome. It's great being able to kill someone without damaging their shield, because then you get a full shield again. And here are some potions for us to completely heal. There is a lot of potions in here. I don't know why, because the arrow traps, I mean, they're easy to avoid, but the remaining traps here are fatal, so potions would not really help. I guess maybe they're like a gradual way to restore all of your health before the boss. Also, I had a little mix-up here. I forgot that there's another guy here who for some reason decided to climb chests. And I selected my Gladius thinking there was a trap in the future. I guess in the immediate future. You will see why I decided to take out the Gladius for a trap, which I thought was there. People in this universe have mastered the art of making motion detectors for their traps. So you can kinda just throw a thing and it will trigger a trap, even if it doesn't let on any pressure plates, because you don't actually have real pressure plates in this game. Everything is controlled by motion sensors. But actually, other than that, the fantasy setting in here is very mild, very down to earth, and I very much like it. There's no straight up magic most of the time. There's magical items and some magical monsters, but no like mages, although some are mentioned in the manual. There we go, there's some circular saws for dismemberment. And the humans have like down-to-earth architecture and down-to-earth stuff, and the cultures are based on like loosely based on real world cultures, and there's even a name of a place that is straight up from the real world. It's Yerevan, for some, I don't know why. This game was made by Europeans. Europeans are strange. But yeah, I mean, the story and the setting in this game is like generic, the most generic thing ever. But it is nice. It fulfills its purpose.
Miserable knight, how dare you defy me? I stand on the threshold of destiny. A new army, a new empire. Your order, your king. Where are they now? Nothing can stop me. The future is mine. Prepare to join your comrades in hell.
Oh boy, this guy. He has a great shield, he has a potion, he has a better weapon than us, and he is very fast and aggressive. Although he does taunts as well sometimes. And I should not miss throwing my eclipse. Alright, I will do a couple throws here just for comic effect, I guess, and to show how I fought him once. Maybe break his shield if I'm lucky, but maybe I'll just run out of patience before that. But I will just then drink the power potion and you will see what helps. I mean, what it does and how much it helps. Basically, I will spoil it for you. The power potion raises your defense and power by a lot. And it also gives you infinite stamina for the duration. Which means that you might perform attacks that you just don't have stamina for yet. Or perform attacks that you do have stamina for indefinitely without fear of being incapacitated. But against this guy, most importantly, it raises your defense enough that his attacks barely do any damage. So you can see I am completely undamaged by him, and he is dead. Normally he would decimate you. But for some reason it helps against him much more than it usually helps me, because throughout the entire game, as the barbarian at least, I have not found a single place where the blah 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 power potion was actually helpful, because it did never seem to actually make me take noticeably less damage or dish out more damage. But I guess in this case it has proven to be actually working, at least. I guess the numbers are big enough for the barbarian, so that the measly little improvements the potion gives you might not be sufficient enough. Although maybe it does percentages, so I don't know. But here's the end of the level actually.
A new era approaches. The Order of Knights will disappear, and the Master has reserved me a place at his side if I help in his plans. With the Guardians of Tel-Halaf dead, and the cities of the dwarves annihilated, nothing will prevent our victory.
And there is the map screen. Prepare to see the map.
Just as the Guardians of the Order had feared, Ragnar was planning treachery. But he was not alone. Nor was he simply a corrupt captain seeking power and riches. A malign force had taken possession of Ragnar's mind and taken control of the castle. The strange warrior who disappeared into the night was a supernatural force. Dark powers of abroad which threatened the kingdom. The evil seems to come from the mountains. It will be best to return to Tel-Halaf and report what has happened.
So now we get to choose from the same two levels that every character gets to choose from when they complete their own first unique level. The knight will go to the fortress of Tel-Halaf first because he has a story reason and I just feel like it. But it will be much later, so until then, goodbye.